Today I'm going to share 11 easy one pot or one pan camping dinner ideas. This is a very specific video, but I think this is going to be some really helpful ideas for your next camping trip. Now, if you've seen a lot of my videos over the years, you will have seen me make all of these things. These are things that are pretty much in the regular rotation when it comes to easy camping dinners. Now, like I said, all you're going to need is either a pan, and I like to use, this is an antique cast iron pan, but I always go for cast iron, or a trusty pot. This is a 2-quart pot, and I love this pot. It's a great size. I would go with at least 2 quarts, but this thing doesn't come with a lid, so sometimes I have to use a little plate. But if you can find a bigger pot with a lid, that would probably be best. I have a smaller one with a lid, but this is really my favorite. And that's all you're gonna need. Oh, and your camp stove, of course. So this stuff will be used over the camp stove to make all of these meals. Let's dive into the list. I'm gonna put this stuff down. First up is jambalaya, and this quickly became one of my favorites. It utilizes a store-bought jambalaya mix that has the spices and the rice in there, so you don't need to be packing a ton of different spices to camp. And then to add a little texture to it, I like to do fresh bell pepper, onion, and a can of fire-roasted diced tomatoes, and that just really makes it a little bit more special at camp. And then you can leave it like that if you want, or pack some pre-cooked chicken sausage, slice that up, and put that in there as well. So that's a great way to add protein to the meal without having to pack or handle raw meat at camp. Next, we have good old classic ravioli. For this one, I like to buy the ravioli that comes in the refrigerated section of the grocery store, and there's usually a ton of different flavors and combos that you can get for the ravioli. And then I also pack a jar of pasta sauce, and I just pour the pasta sauce right in my pot, put the ravioli in there, and I bring the sauce up to a boil and just kind of cook the ravioli in the sauce. Since it's already mostly cooked, it really doesn't take long, and you don't need to spend time or energy sort of putting it in boiling water. I just put it right in the sauce. It is a great one if you just need a quick meal. There's hardly any prep to this one. Next is pre-made packets of Indian food and rice. This is one that I've talked about a ton because it's something that I always have in my camping pantry bin. I'll put more info about my pantry bin here if you want to check that out. But this one is just packets of Indian food, and you can get tons of different flavors and different dishes. And then I bring the rice packets along as well, which are already cooked. So again, this meal, there's really no prep at all. It is just a matter of heating things up in the pot and you're good to go. Next is simple boxed mac and cheese. I love mac and cheese. This is a really easy one to, again, kind of always have in your camping bin for quick, easy meals. Let's say you didn't feel like cooking or you stayed out a little bit longer than you expected. A box of mac and cheese is nice to have, and it's really easy. I usually put the butter and the milk in the cooler, and then that's pretty much it. Moving on to ramen, yet another one that really doesn't even require any prep. I've talked about this a lot as just being a great, easy meal to have on hand. I will boil the ramen and just cook it according to packaging, and then I like to add an egg in there and cook the egg in that boiling broth just to add a little bit of protein and flavor to my ramen. Next is one of my all-time favorite meals ever, and it is tacos. Tacos are in regular rotation for us at home and at camping. They're just, I mean, they really are like part of my food pyramid at this point. But tacos are great because you can even prep the beef at home. So you can cook the beef at home with some taco seasoning and then just store it in the cooler and reheat it at camp. Or you could make the taco portion of it at camp in your pan over the stove, and then it's really just a matter of all the toppings that you want to bring, from cheese to beans to tomatoes, lettuce. I love to do pickled onions, sour cream, so kind of all that stuff is really just in the assembly once you've cooked the beef. Next is risotto, and this is a lot like the jambalaya, where we're really utilizing boxed risotto mixes that come with all of the spices and stuff that you would need to make the risotto. So I usually get that, and then I like to kind of spice it up with maybe some vegetables. So I recently did a mushroom chicken risotto where I took that boxed risotto mix and I added some fresh mushrooms that I sauteed in the pot, and then I cooked chicken breast at home. I just poached it and shredded it, and then added that cooked shredded chicken, cooked shredded chicken right into the mushroom risotto. And it was really, really delicious. I mean, it's not as good as a fresh risotto is, where you're sitting there around the pot stirring it for like 30, 40 minutes. But the box risotto is pretty dang good for camping. And when you add in some of the other elements like the mushrooms and the chicken, it really takes it to another level, and it's delicious. Next up is one of Nick's favorites, and it is simply just a basil pesto couscous. So you bring some couscous, cook that in your pot, and then mix in some basil pesto, and it's done. It's really delicious. You can add some pine nuts, some sun-dried tomatoes. Sometimes I've even mixed in a tuna packet or a salmon packet. You could bring along pre-cooked grilled chicken, for example, or shredded chicken to mix in there if you want some protein. So again, you can get really creative with this, adding other vegetables if you want, but it's just, yeah, couscous cooks in minutes and super easy. Next up, we have sloppy joes, which is really just a matter of cooking the beef mix in your cast iron pan, and then you put it on some buns and serve it up. You can melt some cheese. I served this with a little coleslaw mix that I just bought at the store and assembled at camp. Sloppy joes really take me back to my childhood. We had them, it feels like every week when I was a kid. And so here we are bringing them back for camping. Next up is a simple stir fry, and this one you can change up in so many different ways. So I use a store-bought pouch of stir fry sauce and then add a ton of veggies, and I like to do shrimp just because it's something a little bit different and shrimp cooks so quickly in the pan. And then I also bring a packet of the pre-cooked rice so that I don't have to dirty another pan by cooking rice. Throw it all in the pan and it's ready in a few minutes. Really easy, and again, just so many different ways that you can get creative with this one and change up your veggies and your proteins. And lastly, we have landed on quesadillas. Definitely a go-to for me. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. Of course, you can just do simple cheese and tortillas. I like to bring salsa and sour cream and cilantro and green onions. I've even done a steak and pepper and onion quesadilla for camping dinner, and that was so good. So get creative with this, or just keep it really simple, but I feel like you can never go wrong with tortillas and cheese and sour cream. Those are just all of my favorite things. All right, so there you have it. These are 11 really easy one pot, one pan camping dinner ideas. So I hope you like this video. Make sure to check the description below for links to a ton of these recipes and ideas in written form if that's what you like, and subscribe to my channel for tons more camping content. I have new videos every single week, and I would love to see you in the next one.